At this stage, I know it's happening. I now have to start planning very carefully my approach to making this come to fruition. There are many things that I need to consider in doing this, from deciding specifically where I'm going to move to, dealing with a new culture and traditions, a new legal system, healthcare, banking arrangements, understanding the relevant immigration procedures, funding the actual move itself, and also considering the type of accommodation, lifestyle, and routine that I see myself enjoying, and everything that's in between. Now, as mentioned earlier, I was deliberating between both the Philippines and Thailand for various different reasons, which are well documented on the internet. On the one hand, Thailand seems to be the obvious choice due to the more modernized infrastructure and value for money in terms of cost of living. And in a worldwide cost of living crisis, it helps if your money goes as far as it can. The food is world-renowned. Healthcare is also top-notch. There is a large expat community that can help you in your transition, making it easier to have contact with like-minded people so you don't feel too alone. There is beautiful scenery, stunning beaches, mountains, and also cities for those who prefer that kind of livelier lifestyle, along with the urban, how shall I put it, excitement that goes with it. Now, Thailand is also rich in culture, with beautiful temples, festivals, and many traditions to explore. It also is positioned as a travel hub, being centrally located in Southeast Asia, making it easier to travel to neighboring countries. On the downside, there is a strong language barrier, and whilst English is spoken in tourist areas, learning Thai is essential if you want a deeper connection and integration into the local population. Now, the visa situation is very strict, and it can be complex at best, and navigating the visa process can often require regular renewals or reporting to the authorities, not to mention any visa runs depending on your personal circumstances and situation. Now, there are many cultural differences, especially considering hierarchy, respect, and communication styles that can take time to adapt to. The heat and humidity, because of the tropical climate, can be brutal, while appealing on one side can be very oppressive on the other, especially during the hot season. You've got the traffic and pollution that can be a huge problem in cities, especially like Bangkok. It can be very intense, and air pollution is a growing concern. More importantly, political instability is common in Thailand, which has experienced political unrest, even coups in the past. This can create a sense of uncertainty, especially if you're seeking stability or you're looking to put your roots down somewhere. Now, also having to deal with Thai bureaucracy can be slow and frustrating, especially when it comes to permits and licenses and other official matters. Infrastructure, however, is well developed in most major cities, but in rural areas lacks some of the infrastructure and amenities that you might be used to in the West. Now, in contrast, the pros of moving to the Philippines obviously begins with the cost of living being significantly lower in comparison to Western countries, and housing, food, and services are generally more budget friendly. Now, language-wise, English is widely spoken, and it's actually one of the official languages, making communication so much easier for expats. Similar to Thailand, there is beautiful scenery, and the country boasts some of the world's most beautiful beaches, islands, and natural wonders. The climate, of course, is also tropical and warm all year round, perfect for those who like sunny weather. The local Filipinos, of course, are also well-renowned for their hospitality and friendliness, which can make it so much easier to integrate into the population. There's also a well-established expat community, especially in areas like Manila, Cebu, and I think Dumaguete. Now, when looking at healthcare, higher quality is also available in the major cities, but again, you've got to pay for it. Although often at a lower cost compared to Western countries. Now, there's also a rich culture in a blend of Asian and Spanish influences, giving the Philippines a unique cultural heritage with vibrant festivals, foods, and traditions all of its own. On the downside, the weather can be very extreme, and as a tropical climate brings with it a rainy season with potential for frequent typhoons and flooding, and this can disrupt daily life, not forgetting the occasional earthquake, as the Philippines is situated on a geographical fault. The traffic and pollution in major cities suffers from significant congestion and air pollution, which can be stressful and time-consuming. Now, similar to Thailand, it also has its own bureaucracy, and navigating the government system can be very slow and inefficient, with paperwork and processes often being very, very outdated. In terms of the infrastructure, especially outside of major cities, roads, internet, and public services can be lacking or very unreliable at best. Because of the economic disparities, the gap between the rich and the poor is strikingly noticeable, which can be difficult for a Westerner to come to terms with at first. There are safety concerns in certain areas of the Philippines due to crime or insurgent activities, although most expat popular areas are mainly safe. When looking at the visa side of things, the Philippines is generally welcoming, offering open and easy to renew long-term visas, but these have to be done on a regular basis. And this can be an issue if you are situated outside of the urban areas. So as you can see, there are many points, both for and against each of these places, as they share similar attributes in terms of cost of living, climate, healthcare, and culture. Now, after much consideration and deliberation, I reached the conclusion that the best thing to do was to spend an amount of time in each of these places to get a real taste of what they had to offer, both good and bad, taking into account that I will probably be looking at a retirement visa for over 50s to settle on a more permanent basis if I chose Thailand. And these are usually handled by an agent and therefore come at a cost of their fees at around the thick end of $1,000, and then half of that, which is renewable on a yearly basis thereafter. So I would need to be absolutely sure before I went down that route. So with this in mind, I've decided that the Philippines would be the best place to start due to its more open stance on tourist visas, which can be extended on a 2-monthly basis all the way up to 36 months. So, decision now made.